G'day oneworld Fly Squad, my name is Jaden, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'll be comparing two national carriers in Oceania. The first one would be Qantas, Boeing 737-800 in economy from here to Sydney, I'm in Adelaide at the moment. The second flight would be Air New Zealand, A320 in economy from Auckland to Queenstown. Both flights are about similar length, about an hour and a half, so I think they'll make a good comparison. Now without further ado, let's go check in with Qantas. At most major Australian airports, including Perth and Sydney, Qantas has their own dedicated check-in terminals for the domestic flights. In both Australia and New Zealand, check-in is completely separated for international and domestic flights. At most Australian airports, when you fly Qantas, you can check in through the Qantas app and obtain a boarding pass there. When you arrive at the airport and you've only got a carry-on, you can go straight through security and into the airport lounge or boarding gate. If you've got a check-in luggage, simply print out your own bag tag at the self-check-in and then proceed to self-bag drop. For most frequent flyers of Qantas, this process is quite straightforward. If you find it complicated, it's completely okay. Simply head down to the check-in desk and check in with a Qantas employee. For Qantas Domestic, they've got two types of lounges. They are the Qantas Domestic Business Lounge for business class customers and also oneworld Emerald members, including Platinum and Platinum 1. In the case of Adelaide Airport, they've only got the Qantas Club. In addition to business class and Platinum members, Qantas Gold, Qantas Club members and also oneworld Sapphire members can also use this lounge. In New Zealand, they've only got one type of domestic lounge, because for domestic flights in New Zealand, there's only economy class, there's no business. Compared to Qantas domestic business lounges, Qantas clubs are open to more people, so naturally they're usually more crowded, especially during peak hours. In most Qantas clubs, except for a few exceptions in regional Australia, there's a full buffet setup and also barista-made coffee. Australian people have high expectations for their coffee. You can rely on Qantas for a good coffee in their lounges. For travellers who've had a long day, or they're connecting from a long-haul flight, they can make use of the shower suites in the Qantas clubs. They're available in most capital cities. When you fly Qantas Domestic Economy and you've got lounge access because of your membership, you can expect a good coffee, a good shower, and relatively fast Wi-Fi, which is important for business travellers. But don't expect fine dine and first class service. When you fly Qantas Domestic, chances are you're flying on a 737. They're the workhorse of Qantas Domestic mainline fleet. Qantas operates over 70 of those planes. They fly within Australia, but also from Australia to Bali, New Zealand, Fiji, Vanuatu and other Pacific nations. Only about 1/3 of Qantas 737 have personal TV, but all of them have Wi-Fi that works on a domestic flight. Every Qantas domestic aircraft fly multiple times a day to maximize operation and therefore increasing revenue. I'm not saying other airlines don't do this, but Qantas does it really well. Statistically, Qantas 737 has some of the shortest turnaround, which means they don't sit on the ground for long. To achieve that, they board and disembark through the back and front doors, and as you get off the plane, the cleaning staff start coming on board to clean.
To only place the larger bags into the overhead lockers, wheels to the back, and your second carry-on piece such as smaller backpacks, laptop bags and
Qantas is a full-service traditional airline. Every airfare includes 23 kilo for check-in, plus a carry-on for up to 10 kilo, plus a personal item like a purse or camera bag, and you'll need to store that underneath the seat in front of you. Most if not all Qantas 737 has USB ports, but not all of them have a TV. Today we're lucky. In a seat pocket you'll find Inflight magazine. They update that every month. Legroom is alright, about 30 inches. On some Qantas 737 you also get universal power sockets.
Travis, our team leader, has already introduced himself. We also have lovely Georgie and Sharon looking after you on our flight to Sydney. Now flying the aircraft today, we have Captain Andrew Unwin, Captain Tim Jerish, and First Officer Hayden George. We'd all like to welcome back our Qantas and oneworld frequent flyers. It is great to have you all on board with us today. Now if you haven't already done so, please place those larger...
Qantas does have a reputation for dirty seats. We got some crumbs on the tray table. That could be a result of the short turnaround time.
If oxygen is required, a mask will drop from above. Pull down firmly to activate the oxygen. Put it on.
According to Australian and New Zealand government statistics, Qantas domestic operation last year was 67% on time. Across the ditch in New Zealand, Air New Zealand scored 77% on-time performance last year.
in your Wi-Fi settings and follow the prompts on the Welcome on Board screen. To ensure an enjoyable flight for everyone,
Qantas offer free food and drinks on all flights, and they proudly advertise that on their website. On most domestic flights, you can expect a refreshment, a tiny bottle of water, and a drink of choice. For drinks, you can choose from soft drinks, coffee, tea, juices, and for flights departing after 12 PM, they offer complimentary beers and wines. For the refreshment, if you're flying during the lunch or dinner time, you can expect something hot and larger. For the rest of the day, it's something cold and tiny. In-flight entertainment is available across the whole Qantas mainline fleet. At the bare minimum, you get free Wi-Fi and in-flight magazine. On some A330 and 737, you get the TV as well. Overall, you can expect a good experience flying Qantas domestic economy. It's all inclusive. You never have to pay for food and drinks or baggage allowance unless you need more than what's allowed. The pre-flight experience is usually smooth and efficient. There are multiple ways for you to check in for your flight. If you're eligible for lounges, the Qantas clubs and domestic business lounges are pretty good in the global standards. A lot of people who fly Qantas are regular travelers. You can tell by how many guests they have in the lounges and also how people boarded the plane. Most people got their boarding passes on their phones and they scanned it themselves as they boarded the plane. They know the drill because they fly so often. Qantas is the largest airline in Australia, both internationally and domestically. Domestically, it's a duopoly between Virgin Australia and Qantas. While Qantas is a full-service airline, Virgin Australia is a hybrid airline, meaning that your experience is pretty much full service, but there are some things that you need to pay extra for, such as Wi-Fi and food. And because of that, Qantas is often quite expensive. You get what you pay. Now please enjoy the approach and landing into Sydney. It's a really windy day today, and we're using the east-west runway. After landing into Sydney, I'll teleport to Auckland and start a comparison between Qantas and Air New Zealand.
Would like to acknowledge and pay our respects to the traditional custodians of the airport's land, the Qantas people. Please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is off. As always, smoking, vaping and the use of e-cigarettes is not permitted while disembarking or throughout the terminal. Please take care when opening the overhead lockers, as baggage may have moved and could fall out. Before leaving, ensure that you check your seat and your seat pocket for any personal items. And if you can reach your mobile phone, you can switch off the flight mode now. On behalf of my crew, thanks for choosing to fly with Qantas today. We are pleased to have brought you safely over to Sydney, and we do look forward to seeing you when next you choose to fly with us. Thanks so much and have a wonderful afternoon.
We're now at Auckland Domestic Airport in New Zealand. Let's check out Air New Zealand. Just like Qantas in Australia, you'll find the Air New Zealand domestic check-in has their own dedicated area. They also feature premium check-in for their elite frequent flyers. Air New Zealand is part of Star Alliance, so with my Turkish Airlines Elite card, I was able to take advantage of premium check-in today. Unlike Air New Zealand long-haul operation, their short-haul and domestic operations are hybrid. The cheapest airfare doesn't come with baggage allowance, so you need to watch out for that when you book your flights and purchase the appropriate fare for your needs. In both Australia and New Zealand domestic airports, you don't need to take out liquid for security. Interestingly, for both, you don't need a boarding pass to get into the airside. So if you're a family or friend of a flying passenger, you can drop off or pick up the passenger from the boarding gate. I just made it to the domestic airport lounge in Auckland. Similar to the Qantas lounge, you can get in with an economy boarding pass if you've got the following membership: Air New Zealand Airpoints, Elite, Gold, Elite Partner, and co-room members, as well as Star Alliance Gold members. New Zealanders are serious about their coffee as well, so in the Air New Zealand lounge, you can expect barista made coffee. As I mentioned earlier, Air New Zealand Domestic is more of a hybrid airline. They don't offer hot food on board. Not all fares include a checked bag, so for most economy passengers, Air New Zealand is more inferior to Qantas. But if you've got lounge access, Air New Zealand is another level. They are the superior. Even in the Auckland domestic lounge, they've got a wide range of food and drinks on offer. I was pleasantly surprised. You would be lucky if you get scrambled eggs in the Qantas clubs. In the Air New Zealand domestic lounge, you also get scrambled eggs, as well as bacon, baked beans, porridge, hash browns, and sausages. It's more impressive than some hotel breakfasts. The Air New Zealand lounge design is not everyone's cup of tea. The colour is really black and white, and this particular lounge gets super crowded during peak hour. Just like the Qantas Club, if you just came off a long-haul flight or you've had a long day, rest assured they have shower rooms in this lounge. The breakfast is so good, we're having more, as well as coffee. Before long, it's time to head to our boarding gate for our flight to Queenstown. New Zealand is a much smaller country compared to Australia, so most of their domestic flights don't go over an hour and a half. Auckland to Queenstown is one of New Zealand's longest domestic routes. When you fly New Zealand domestic, chances are you're flying on an Airbus A320. There are some minor pros and cons compared to Qantas 737. A320 is usually more comfortable in terms of the quietness of the aircraft and seat comfort. The fuselage is wider compared to 737. The engines are quieter too compared to 737. I might be wrong about this, but my theory is that 737 is better for the airline on-time performance. A320 has a longer minimum turnaround time compared to 737, so when the inbound aircraft is late, the 737 has a higher chance of catching up. That being said, Air New Zealand, which is mostly A320, has a better on-time performance compared to Qantas. Like their neighbour in Australia, Air New Zealand also boards and disembarks through the back and front doors.
No problem. Welcome, thank you. Thanks, Eddie. On the left-hand side, welcome.
I got allocated seat 3F today. It's an extra legroom seat. The first few rows of Air New Zealand A320 have extra legroom. Air New Zealand's high-tier members can select them for free. Qantas don't offer those kind of extra legroom seats. I'm sure the Air New Zealand frequent flyers appreciate this so much when they know that their friends in Australia don't get this treatment. Even 644 has plenty of knee space left. Both Qantas 737 and Air New Zealand A320 has reading lights and personal AC vents. Qantas 737 have headrests, but not on Air New Zealand.
In preparation for departure, please store your bags and laptops securely. Place your larger bags on overhead lockers and your small bags underneath the seat in front of you. If you are seated in row 11 and 12, which are emergency exit rows?
To the southwest here in Auckland with a left-hand turn, climbing up to a cruising altitude of 34,000 feet. There's a bit of a mixed bag of weather around, but we're anticipating reasonably smooth conditions en route, and the weather in Queenstown not too bad a day there, actually just very light northerly. There's been a little bit of light drizzle, lowish cloud this morning, but it is forecast to improve for around the time of our arrival. Temperature's still a bit cool though, 4 degrees Celsius. I'll get back to you later on the flight with an update on the weather conditions to try and arrival. Respect for flight time, we've got a bit of a northerly wind aloft, about an hour 22 at this stage. So just wait now, sit back, relax, and I'll speak to you later on the flight.
On Air New Zealand, they don't offer free Wi-Fi on their domestic flights, but on their international flights they do. That's the complete opposite for Qantas. But Qantas is slowly rolling out free Wi-Fi on international flights. On Air New Zealand domestic, there's absolutely no personal TV. At least for Qantas you have a chance of getting one, but you do get an in-flight magazine.
Charging e-cigarettes and vapes is also prohibited. Headphones connected to personal electronic devices must be removed now. It's important you do your
instructions, placards and illuminated signs. All loose items should be stowed in the overhead locker or under the seat in front, but must be switched to flight mode first. Wi-Fi is not available on this aircraft, but feel free to use Bluetooth. Please switch safety card in the seat pocket in front of you, or ask your flight attendant.
New Zealand is the whole country.
Aotearoa, the wonder of the world.
Works for me.
I really do hope that you're enjoying this video so far. Please leave a like, comment down below and share this video with your friends. And most importantly, every week I upload a trip report, so be sure to hit that subscribe and bell button so you don't miss out again. There's no personal TV on Air New Zealand domestic, but they have pop-down TV. For the in-flight service, it's more basic on Air New Zealand. Like Qantas, they have free coffee, tea and water, but no juice, soft drinks and alcohol. Furthermore, you get less food on Air New Zealand. Today we have 2 types of cookies to choose from. They go well with coffee and tea. Like Swiss International Airlines, on Air New Zealand flights, it's a tradition that the cabin crew give you lollies before landing. On today's flight, they actually invited a child in economy. We were actually all in economy, but anyway, they invited a child to hand out the lollies. It was a fun experience for that child. On Qantas 737, you don't have seats that face directly at the cabin crew, but on Air New Zealand, the first row, on the left hand side, seats 1A, B and C face directly at the cabin crew. On the right hand side, it starts at row 2 and it's a bulkhead in front.
South speed a little, there's another aircraft coming in from the Tasman that just put this at the post there, so we're going to lose about 5 minutes just to sequence it behind them. The way that they operate going in and out of Queenstown. They're still doing good for time with the tail that we've had assisting us, so touching down about 20 past 11, so still looking at this marking on time at 25 past. Those weather conditions there has been a little bit of light rain passing through there this morning, but majority of that's cleared away now. Main cloud base is around 6,000 feet. Temperature's still a bit cool though at 5 degrees Celsius. Not much to see, unfortunately, once we get below that cloud base on the latter part of the approach, which will be leaning towards the north today. So initially our tracking is out to the south of Queenstown, south of Lake Wakatipu, and then so once we get below 6,000, should get some nice views of Lake Wakatipu with the township on the left-hand side leaning towards the north. Trust you to fly with us. It's been our pleasure to bring you through to Queenstown, and look forward to being service again sometime in the future. Thanks.
We'll be soon landing into Queenstown, and I'll quickly conclude this video the comparison between Qantas 737 domestic economy and Air New Zealand A320 domestic economy right here, right now. I don't even know where to begin. Let's start from the airfare. So Air New Zealand is usually cheaper for the distance that you fly. For instance, Qantas from Adelaide to Sydney is actually a lot more expensive than Air New Zealand from Auckland to Queenstown, even if I were to add a bag for Air New Zealand. In the late 1990s to early 2000, all major Australian airports in capital cities went through privatisation. As a result, they charge higher tax and fees, and guess who paid for that? You, as the flying customer. On the other hand, in New Zealand, the federal government and local city councils own the airports. As a result, you get lower fares, but then the airports aren't nicer. The Auckland domestic airport is literally a shed, it's really old. But overall, I think I prefer an older terminal and lower fares, especially when I fly regularly. Both Qantas and Air New Zealand have outstanding lounges for domestic, but I think overall Air New Zealand have nicer ones. Now to the aircraft, I think Qantas is more comfortable. You get double seat back padding, better recline, and also headrest. Although on Air New Zealand, if you're an elite frequent flyer, you get extra legroom. The overall flight experience is better on Qantas. You get free Wi-Fi, and you might get a personal TV. In addition, you get way more food and drink options on Qantas. For the in-flight service, both Australians and New Zealanders are friendly people. You can't go wrong with their cabin crew. All in all, both Qantas and Air New Zealand do pretty well for their domestic operations. In the Western world, they outperform North American and European airlines. So which airline do you prefer? Qantas domestic or Air New Zealand domestic? Let me know in the comment down below. Thanks for watching this video. Enjoy the approach and landing into Queenstown. I'll see you next week when I upload again. Bye bye.
Manuhiri no mai haere mai ki Tahuna. Welcome to Queenstown. For your safety, you must remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the seatbelt sign is turned off. Also, be careful when opening the overhead lockers as items could fall out. It is now safe for transmitting functions on your electronic devices to be turned on. If we are using stairs to disembark, please take care and use the handrails provided. Follow the clearly marked path to the terminal. If you're unable to use the stairs, you may prefer to wait and exit through the forward door. Electronic devices, including vapes, must not be used when crossing the tarmac. If you have finished with your newspapers or magazines, place them in the recycling bin inside the terminal. Please ensure you have all your items, including rubbish, is removed from the seat pocket. Finally, from all the team, we hope you've enjoyed flying with Air New Zealand on a Star Alliance network. We'd like to thank you all, including our Airpoints members, and look forward to welcoming you all on board again soon. Take care. Kai pai tōra.
Once again, thank you very much for watching today, and a big shout out to all my members and Patreon subscribers for their continuous support and contribution to my channel. Join my membership program now to enjoy early access to my trip reports and have exclusive access to my travel vlogs. I will see you all again next week. Bye.